A plane crash kills 2 people in Broomfield. The destruction could have been worse if the plane had hit a busy neighborhood nearby. The power is still out for thousands of Coloradans this weekend, but Xcel is making progress after a winter storm turned off the lights for more than 200,000 homes. And the Avs get a big win on the road. Today, we learn the Blues will lose one of their best players for the rest of the series after a controversial play. 9 News at 5 starts now. For the second time this month, investigators are looking into a deadly plane crash in Broomfield. North Metro Fire says 2 people died when a single-engine plane crashed in a busy neighborhood, just barely missing homes. Firefighters say nobody on the ground was hurt, no homes were damaged, and this plane crashed off Las Brisas Drive and Anthem Ranch, just off Low Boulevard and south of Erie Municipal Airport. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry is at the scene for us this afternoon. Jaleesa?
Yeah, North Metro Fire and Rescue say it's incredibly fortunate that no one on the ground was injured in this crash. The plane stopped in the middle of a 4-way intersection, and neighbors tell me this reiterates concerns they've had for years. The corner of Anthem Ranch and Las Brisas Drive intersects heartache with frustration.
I mean, this is our street. We're two doors down. This is really frightening.
Susan Foreman is one of the many.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Worried for how much worse it could have been.
We're fortunate that there weren't more injuries that sustained by bystanders on the ground. And also the plane crashed in an area that didn't damage any homes nearby too, which is pretty miraculous.
Sarah Ferris with North Metro Fire Rescue says a neighbor called in the single engine crash just before noon. The 2 people inside the plane died. North Metro did not know where it took off from, but the neighbors here believe they have a pretty good idea.
So we're concerned about the safety and sometimes the noise also, but the safety is certainly foremost in our minds.
Chris Rorty is the HOA president of this neighborhood just south of Erie Municipal Airport. She says they have an aviation committee to address the safety concerns with planes coming from nearby airports, since this isn't their first crash.
We had another crash a few years ago, in the middle of that open area with an ultralight, so that was frightening, and this is a little bit, but it's way too close to our homes, and hopefully, you know, our voices will be heard a little bit more maybe.
NTSB and FAA will take over this investigation, but even after the debris clears, heartbreak and frustration will remain.
I mean, this is in somebody's yard. It's your worst nightmare.
NTSB and FAA will be investigating the cause of this crash. North Metro Fire and Rescue say this area will be closed for some time, so avoid the area if you can. Jennifer?
All right, Jaleesa Irizarry reporting for us tonight. Thank you, Jaleesa. This is the second deadly plane crash this month. Back on May 4th, a plane crashed at El Dorado Boulevard and Interlochen Loop in Broomfield. The plane was supposed to land at Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport, but it crashed about half a mile from the runway, and that crash killed the pilot. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused that crash. Today, police are trying to figure out what led to a shooting that injured 3 people in Aurora this afternoon. Police say it happened at Park Place at Expo Apartments. That's off Exposition and Havana. Aurora police say this started after a fight in the parking lot. All 3 victims have serious injuries, but police say they're expected to survive, and they're asking anybody who saw what happened to call Crime Stoppers. Some of that heavy, wet snow that fell around town is already gone. Here's the view from Lookout Mountain, showing a lot of grass and trees today, but yesterday morning, all of that was covered with snow. It will take a bit longer to melt in the foothills. Black Hawk got nearly a foot of snow, and more than 17 inches fell in Genesee. More Coloradans have their lights back on this afternoon. Xcel's outage map says about 9,000 customers still do not have power, but the company says they should all get their power back today. The storm knocked out power to 210,000 customers initially. Heavy, wet snow weighed down the branches, which of course brought down the power lines. For some people without power, they're wondering what is taking so long. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall spoke with one woman in Lakewood who is still waiting.
In Lakewood, the lights and power are still out.
That would be the longest time in all these years we've lived in Colorado that this has happened.
Diane Hagley woke up Saturday to no power.
We got up in the morning and we made breakfast, And then all of a sudden the power went out.
On Friday, Excel says heavy, wet snow weighed down power lines. In Diane's case, on her block, it's impacted only the houses on her side of the street.
If we lived across the street, there would be no issue. And that has seemed to be the case whenever the power has gone out, is that they don't suffer the same consequences.
She's called Excel, but says she still hasn't gotten a clear answer for when the power will return.
What I don't understand, and we don't seem to get an answer, is why it's taking so long to fix.
She's hoping the sooner, the better for a return to normal.
I keep thinking, did they forget about us?
In Lakewood, Angela McCall, 9 News.
A lot of people spent their day cleaning up their yards from all the downed tree branches. City around Denver, the Denver area, they have different rules for branch drop-offs. Denver will not accept any branches longer than 4 feet, and bundles cannot weigh more than 50 pounds. Arvada is warning residents that dropping off debris could take up to an hour this afternoon. Pretty busy. If you have any questions about rules in your city, we have a list at 9news.com. Temperatures warmed up a little bit today, and the real heat will return later this week. So should some rain. Danielle joins us now from the Weather Center with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we have a bit of everything coming our way, Jenny. Up into the high country, we have a brief lull, things moving along smoothly in and out of the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels, but cloudy skies out there, and we will be monitoring possibly a little bit of light snowfall late tonight. As we look across downtown Denver, mostly cloudy skies for us, and possibly a few thunderstorms on deck later this evening. They'll be few and far between. As we look on HD Doppler 9, you can see that cloud deck pushing in out to the western slope, encompassing the I-25 corridor, maybe a few isolated showers just to the east of Colorado Springs. Otherwise, we're mainly dry. Again, the timeline for seeing a couple of these showers, thunderstorms pushing through is going to be really within the next couple of hours. Here we are about 6 o'clock looking at some of that snowfall once again hitting the mountains through parts of the foothills, some scattered rain showers just to the east. By 8 o'clock, still mostly cloudy here in the metro area, maybe 1 or 2 showers, but then most of the action will shift off to the eastern plains late tonight. The winds, they've been kicking up pretty much all afternoon, finally starting to calm down just a bit here in the Denver metro area, but 20 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts just howling across the San Luis Valley, also far southeastern Colorado up towards Sterling, along I-80 into Wyoming, Nebraska. They too are dealing with the winds today. 55 right now out of DIA, little warmer than where we were at yesterday. We'll take it. 61 in Greeley right now, as well as Ray. Upper 60s for Lamar, 30s in Leadville through Buena Vista, and about 73 in Grand Junction. So the showers, they will be few and far between for us this evening. I do have that next round of rain rolling in on Tuesday. Plus, we're talking more snow up in the mountains. And then, yes, as you mentioned, Jenny, the heat making a comeback. Will it stick around, though, for Memorial Day weekend? I will have those answers for you coming up in just a few.
Well, we will check back in soon. Thank you, Danielle. Firefighters are making some progress now on a fire that's burning in southwest Colorado. They have it 75% contained. We're talking about the Sims fire that's burned 373 acres south of Montrose. Firefighters say snow helped wet those fuels for them. Now they're worried that warmer temps and stronger winds could make fire danger worse. And a fire started this afternoon at a storage facility in Aurora. Firefighters got the call at the Extra Space Storage off Parker Road, just across the street from Cherry Creek State Park. Firefighters reported heavy black smoke from this fire. They say solar panels on the roof is what caught fire. Nobody was hurt, and they're not sure yet what started this fire. It is unclear if it damaged anything inside.